past Saturday, the world was graced with a sketch from the TV show Saturday Night Live that has Christians up in arms.
God is a boob man.
Alright, so the sketch blatantly parodies the brand new Christian movie God's Not Dead 2, along with taking a shot and giving its opinion on a relevant news topic, which is, if you didn't know, kind of SNL's shtick. So stop me if you've heard this one before. A gay couple walks into a bakery, right? So the lady at the bakery refuses to make these guys a cake. So they take her to court and she has to prove that God's not gay. Yeah. The sketch, it had its funny moments. I mean, nothing in it was really all that laugh out loud hilarious, but then again, it is SNL, and as the old saying goes, man, SNL hasn't been good since, and then, of course, fill in the blank with whatever standout cast members were on the show during the time that the person who sang the phrase was in high school. I mean, really, the funniest part about the sketch is that they're making fun of the movie God's Not Dead 2, a film franchise that, along with its rabid fans, takes itself so seriously, it feels like it's just begging to be made fun of. In fact, I myself have taken a few jabs at this film franchise, if you can believe it. So while the sketch really isn't comedy gold, it becomes funny because of the anticipation as to how Christians will react to it. And boy, did they deliver. As predictable as a group of social justice warriors at a Trump rally, Christians are mad, saying that the sketch is blasphemous and an attack on God. But for me, as a Christian, I don't know, I don't really feel like getting mad. I don't really care what Saturday Night Live has to say about my faith. I'm not looking at SNL as my source for quality theology. I barely even look at them as a source for quality comedy. Instead, I think it's better to just take an objective look at it and figure out what Christians can learn from it, which is why I'm making this episode, which is called 3 Things I Think Christians Can Learn from
God is a boob man.
All right, here we go. Number 1, the sketch isn't making fun of God. It's making fun of you. Uptight people, they're the most fun to laugh at because you know for a fact that you're going to get a reaction out of them. This is why South Park likes to make fun of Kanye West, because he literally doesn't get the joke, even when the joke is that he doesn't get jokes. Whenever South Park makes fun of somebody like Lorde and her reaction is something like this, oh my goodness, I'm popular enough for South Park to make fun of me? That's awesome. It indicates to the writers of the show that she's actually a reasonable person and they chill out, because both parties know that it's all in good fun. Everyone knows that you can't reason with an unreasonable person, and to be around somebody like that makes you feel trapped. All you really could do is make fun of them and hope that they go away. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know, but I think people are smart enough to figure it out. Or maybe they're not. Who cares? Number 2, people who aren't Christians don't have to act like Christians. It's so funny to me because these are the same type of people who get mad at me for calling out Christians for not acting like Christians because they put out a loveless piece of propaganda like God's Not Dead 2, and then turning around and getting mad at non-Christians for not acting like Christians. Okay, so which of these 2 groups should be expected to act like Christians? It is Saturday Night Live. This is the show whose very first episode had George Carlin on saying this.
It's already Sunday and it's God's day off. That's what it said in the Bible. He worked 6 days and he took Sunday off. It's his one day off, and that's the day we all go and crowd into church and ask him, oh, blah, 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 blah. My day off, man. And everything he has ever made died. Where did he get this great reputation? He's batting 0-0-0.
Getting mad about somebody making a parody sketch about God is the equivalent of getting defensive about somebody you don't even know making a your mama joke. I mean, you can just laugh it off. They're just trying to get a reaction out of you, especially if they don't even know your mom. And number 3, the God's Not Dead films and these types of reactions really distracts us from the main issue. There's a true and legitimate conversation that needs to happen in our culture about the issue of liberty. God's Not Dead 2 claims to be about freedom. I'm a liberty-loving individual, but freedom for you and nobody else is really just a desire to turn the tables of power. Liberty, like real liberty, is for everyone. If you're serious about a private business having the right to decide on what its specialty market is, there are a whole bunch of very reasonable people who would be on your side who aren't even Christians. That's right, reason could be on your side. Do you really think that Christians are the only ones annoyed with this emotion-driven, social justice warrior, politically correct, anti-freedom mentality that's popping up all over the place? The thing is, when you turn it into an attack on faith rather than an attack on private businesses, then you just come across as another special interest group with an emotional argument and a desire to control others. It makes you no different than anyone else trying to suppress free speech and free trade. And honestly, I think the people who hate freedom and want to control what private businesses can and can't do love that you're turning this into a religious issue, because it's so much easier to fight. I don't know, maybe if you didn't blatantly lie about the people that you claim to be trying to reach in your movie, they wouldn't feel so compelled to make fun of you. In the end, who cares what people do? I mean, nobody can stop me from being a Christian any more than I can force somebody else to stop believing whatever they believe. But why would you want to? Just sounds like a lot of responsibility. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this episode of Say Goodnight, Kevin. This was a very spontaneous episode because of the video that came out on Saturday, and I was being bombarded with links to the video. Speaking of nothing that I just said, if you enjoy my show and you want to support it, you can check out my link down there to my Patreon. Also, you can check out other episodes, reviews that I've done about God's Not Dead. Big shout out to Brendan Neely and Westminster Effects. Check out their guitar pedals, they're pretty great. And that's all I've got to say today. I'll talk to you guys later. Good night.